Hello everybody, the next plane off the pile is a Stanley number 95 edge trimming block plane. But before we look at that, let's get serious and talk about wood wigs. I'm wearing my blonde dreadlocks, a fine looking wood wig, and I got a lot of subscribers out there that like them, and I got subscribers that don't like my wigs. I wear the wigs because I just think it's something different. I made them out of wood, using hand planes. Makes sense, doesn't it? Had the bright idea one day when I was doing a test drive of the plane and thought, wow, that'd be pretty neat. So I did it. So now what I'm getting is a lot of requests from subscribers that say, show me how to make a wood wig. So now I want to see if you're serious. Provide comments back on this video and let me know if you'd like to see me make a wood, or show you how to make a wood wig. And if I do show you how to make it, what I want then is for you to send me pictures of you wearing your wood wig, and I'll put them all together in kind of a montage or whatever the word is in a video showing the subscribers in their wood wigs. So that's the idea. Send a message back to me, tell you what you think. If I get enough people to say they're willing to do it, well then I'll show you how to make a wood wig. With that said, let's take a look at the number 95. I don't see a lot of these number 5s come up for auction, and I'm not exactly sure why. It's actually quite a useful plane, so you'd think more of them would have sold. The book value of a common number 95 is $75 to $150, and this one's a common one. It's a newer version of the 95. It has a skewed cutter that's used to accurately square up the edge of boards. It's a handy tool for both cabinet and furniture makers. The plane is 6 inches long, and the iron on a skew is 7/8 of an inch wide. Just wide enough to do a good 3/4 inch thick board. The iron is adjusted using that lever that you see right there, which engages the notches in the back of the iron. The 2 holes that are drilled through the fence are there so you can attach a piece of wood and have it set at any bevel that you want, so you can bevel the edges of boards. It is a handy plane, and there are modern makers that do make this plane identical to it. One maker makes both the left and a right hand version of it. With the exception of those 2 nicks in the front leading edge right there, this plane is in overall excellent condition. I'd say it's got at least 95, close to 100% Japanning. So all I have to do is clean it up, sharpen it, and take her for a test drive. So with that said, let's break it down. And there she is, all broken down. I want to point out that I normally would not remove that depth adjustment lever you see there on the right, but I did. When a plane is this clean, there's no need to do it, but I did it just to show it could be done. That pin can only go in and out through this hole right here on this side. It can't make it out the other side because it hits the side of the plane right there. So that's the only way. So you got to tap it from the right side out to the left side. So not a lot of parts. You've got the body, you've got the depth adjustment lever and its pin, the screw activated lever cap, the iron, and you've got the cap screw. First thing I'm going to do is use some Simple Green and a toothbrush, hot water in my deep sink, and clean up the Japanning. And a good scrubbing brighten the Japanning up really nice. I always scrub it in hot water because that helps it with the drying process. I bring it back in the shop and blow it off with the air hose, making sure I get all the water out of the screw holes or anywhere else where it could gather. Next, I'm going to use some well-loved pieces of sanding sponge. The piece on the left is one I take the sponges and I cut them down so I can get into nooks and crannies better. The one on the right is a little bit less than a full size. What I'm going to do is take those flat metal surfaces that don't have Japanning on them, and I'm just kind of buff them up a little bit with a sanding sponge. These things already look just about like new. This is just going to clean them up just a little bit more, even out what little bit of patina is still on there. All the pieces the same way. The little lever cap, and then I'm going to go over and do the body and the iron. That'll be it. These little cut off pieces work good on places like this. The fence is already showing signs of surface rust from the hot water and Simple Green. And with those parts looking really good, it's on to my wire wheel for the last 3 small parts. And the small parts get finished with a coat of Rem oil. There it is, Remington Rem oil. I've got a really fine looking plane and I don't like those two notches in the front end. So I wire brushed them with a brass soft wire brush. I'm going to mix up some JB Weld and patch those two little nicks. 2 equal parts of JB Weld get thoroughly mixed together and the nicks get patched full. What you want to avoid doing here is trying to become a perfectionist, because the more you try, the worse it's going to get. So put it on reasonably smooth. Make sure that there's extra there, because you don't want to do it once and find out you got to come back and fill it again. And then all I did to clean it up was use a paper towel, one of my blue shop towels, and wiped as closely as I could the excess off. Now it's going to sit till tomorrow when I can finish that up. 24 hours has passed and it's time to use my sanding stick to clean it up. I showed you how to make sanding sticks in another video. They're a handy thing to have. I've used masking tape around the repair to minimize the japanning loss. I'm going to carefully use my sanding stick to sand the JB Weld down to metal. I removed the masking tape and I'm going to finish cleaning up the JB Weld with some fine steel wool. And with the nicks filled, the next thing to do is to break out my magic pen. It's the Sharpie you see right there. It's a black oil paint. And that's got it looking better already. And it's on to sharpening the iron. I've marked the iron for square, and I'm using my General number 810 chisel and plane iron sharpening to put a 25-degree bevel on that iron. I'm using 150 grit paper to put the bevel on. I did a video on sharpening. Foolproof sharpening is what you want to look for. It's going to give you a razor edge every time. The back side of the iron is perfectly flat, and the front side's got the 25-degree bevel and it is razor sharp. Next step is to break out the dirty oil rag and give the Japan parts a good coating. This is what goes in the dirty oil rag right there. It's Howard Feed and Wax. Work the dirty oil rag into every nook and cranny. You want to leave that oil on for a couple hours, then wipe it all the way off and give everything a coat of some good paste wax. Oil and waxing is completed. All parts are accounted for, looking really good. It's time to put this old plane back together. And there she is, all put back together, looking ready to go to work. The old plane's got about 99% original Japanning. The touch up on that leading edge where the two chips were is unnoticeable. The old plane's ready to sit on a top shelf in a collection, or even better yet, be put back to work. She definitely looks good from all angles. The only thing left to do is take this old girl for a test drive. For this test drive, I'm using a small walnut panel. You might as well go right to the hard part and try it out on the end grain. Listen to her sing. Peeling it off nicely. No problem with the end grain. Time to switch it around and do it from the side. Look at there, nice fine shavings. If she could do end grain that well, going with the grain is definitely a piece of cake. What a nice little tool. Look at that. Shaving them off. Wonder what kind of wood wig I can make with this. There's a plane that passes the test. And here's a close look at what she did on the end grain. After seeing these results, it's easy to see why this would be a handy little plane to have. I'd say the old number 95 is definitely an excellent plane. And that's it for today. Number 95 is a great plane, but let's talk about wigs. I need to get some comments about how many people are interested in having a contest on who can make the best wood wig. If I get enough people interested, what I'll do is I'll make a video on how to make wigs, probably the best video that'll ever have been done on YouTube, and then you all can start making wigs and sending me pictures, but we'll talk about that after I get enough comments saying it's worthwhile to do. So that's it for today. Time for supper. Bye.